When God is preparing to give you something significant, it rarely comes in the way you imagine. The road to greatness is often lined with hardships, trials, and moments of deep uncertainty. In life, there are no quick fixes to success and no easy roads to reach the dreams planted in your heart. When God gets ready to bless you, He doesn't simply place it in your hands. Instead, He reshapes you into someone capable of carrying the weight of that blessing. And that process of transformation can be quite uncomfortable. You may begin to feel as though you're being pushed beyond your breaking point. The things you once clung to might start to fall away. Familiar habits may crumble. Relationships may shift. And your surroundings may feel unfamiliar or unstable. But know this, it's in those exact moments of discomfort that God is doing His deepest work, refining you and readying you for what lies ahead. When God has something great in store for you, He doesn't just hand it over. No, He gets you ready for it. And more often than not, that preparation feels like a season of pruning. Cut away the excess in your life so you can bear the weight of the blessings He's preparing to release into your hands. You might not grasp it while you're in it, but the pain, the trials, and even the losses are all parts of the journey. Just like a vine must be trimmed to produce more fruit, you must undergo a refining process to step into the greatness that's coming your way. In this season, you'll go through tests of faith, of patience, and of endurance. There will be days when you feel disheartened, questioning whether the promise of something better will ever materialize. But don't forget, God doesn't test you to defeat you. He tests you to strengthen you. He allows these challenges because He knows you're fully capable of rising through them. He believes in you even during the times when you struggle to believe in yourself. This waiting period, when it feels like you're stuck, is not wasted. It's a time when God is teaching you to be patient, to trust Him, and to rely on His strength. When you reflect on the most powerful success stories, biblical or modern, you'll see the same pattern, a time of waiting, of shaping, and of adversity always comes first. Before David became king, he spent years wandering the wilderness, running from Saul, facing rejection. Yet in that season, he was being molded into the leader who would guide a nation to triumph. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, sold as a slave, wrongly imprisoned, and forgotten, yet every challenge was crafting him into the man who would rise to become second in command in Egypt. The most powerful leaders weren't shaped in seasons of ease. They were formed in the furnace of adversity. When God is preparing to give you something significant, He often begins by removing certain elements and sometimes certain people from your life. You may find yourself questioning why doors are suddenly closing or why opportunities seem to be slipping through your grasp. But during these times, it's essential to trust that God sees the bigger picture. He's clearing away distractions, removing the people who might hold you back, and shifting circumstances that could prevent you from stepping fully into your purpose. It's normal to feel isolated or even abandoned. But in that quiet place, God is getting you ready for a future that demands your full focus, your whole heart, and unwavering trust. Another clear indication that God is getting ready to do something big in your life is when you start sensing a stirring deep within, a craving for something beyond what you're currently living. This yearning might come as a desire for more, a life that reaches beyond your present reality. It's that unmistakable inner knowing that you were made for more than this. And while you may not yet know what that more looks like, you can feel it. You can sense a shift on the horizon. It's like standing at the brink of a brand new chapter where everything is about to be different. That unease, that spiritual nudge is a sign that God is readying your heart for what He has in store. You'll also notice that the things which once brought satisfaction no longer hold the same meaning. What once gave you comfort may now feel hollow. The dreams you used to chase may begin to lose their luster, because God is preparing you for something that will fulfill you in ways nothing else can. He is aligning your desires with His plan for your life. What once seemed important will start to fade, and what truly matters, your purpose, your passion, your calling, will become crystal clear. In these seasons, it's vital to hold fast to your faith, especially when you can't yet see where the road leads. God operates on His own timeline, and His timing is always flawless. What you might not recognize right now is that every struggle you're walking through is part of the preparation. These hardships are the training ground, molding you into the person who can carry the magnitude of the blessing God is preparing to release. If you can walk through this season with patience and trust, you'll come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and fully equipped to receive what's coming. Finally, when God is about to bless you in a mighty way, He won't just give you strength and insight. He'll also call you to move. Faith without action is incomplete. God will ask you to take bold steps even when it feels like nothing is shifting. This is where true obedience begins. Take a step of faith even when you don't have all the answers, even when the road ahead feels uncertain. God doesn't reward hesitation, but He does bless obedience. He honors those who put their trust in His timing and move forward in alignment with His purpose. So when you're facing trials, uncertainty, or discomfort, don't lose heart. These are often indicators that God is about to entrust you with something greater. Lean into the preparation, trust the journey, and move confidently into the future He's shaping for you. His blessings are on the way, and when they arrive, you will be prepared to carry them with grace, wisdom, and strength. Whenever God is getting ready to bless you with something meaningful, the process usually begins with a stretch of trials, setbacks, and adversity. That's no coincidence. It's a vital part of His divine design. Receiving something truly significant is rarely easy or straightforward. It's critical to understand that in those challenging moments, God isn't trying to tear you down. He's developing and strengthening you for the greatness ahead. Hardships and discomfort are not signs that God has forgotten you. In truth, they are evidence that He is preparing you. Just like a professional athlete must undergo intense training before competing, or an artist must refine their craft before sharing it with the world, we too must be shaped by adversity to be ready for the blessings God intends to give. These trials, whether they appear as emotional pain, financial stress, strained relationships, or self-doubt, aren't meant to crush you. They're intended to form you into the person who is equipped to fulfill God's purpose. Just as precious metals are purified by fire, your faith, character, and strength are refined in the heat of life's struggle. You may feel overwhelmed by the pressure, but it's often in those very moments when everything feels impossible that God is forming in you the endurance and strength to not only withstand, but to flourish in the blessing He has planned. The uneasiness you feel now is a clue that greatness is near. Consider it the same pressure that turns coal into diamonds. When you feel like you're at your limit, when the burden feels too heavy to carry, remember this: you're not breaking down. You're being prepared for something far beyond what your eyes can currently see. Your struggles are not without purpose. They are cultivating perseverance, building patience, and developing the resilience you will need when the blessings start flowing into your life. Often we long to avoid adversity. We pray for ease, for a clear and simple path, and for our dreams to unfold without resistance. But the truth is, if we were handed everything we desired without the shaping process, we wouldn't be ready to carry it. The blessings God intends for you require someone who's ready to carry them. And that kind of person is shaped through trials. Without undergoing the refining process, you wouldn't have the depth of character needed to maintain the gift. We often fix our eyes on the final outcome, on success and favor. Yet we overlook the fact that such things come with a cost. And that cost isn't counted in dollars, but in faith, integrity, and the resolve to stand firm when times get hard. More than that, trials do more than simply challenge our strength. They strengthen our faith. When we walk through obstacles that feel impossible, we are compelled to lean not on ourselves, but on God's strength and His direction. In the midst of adversity, we come to trust Him more intimately, to depend on Him when we no longer have the strength to stand on our own. That trust is what prepares us to be wise stewards of the blessings He plans to place in our care. Without learning trust, we would mishandle what He gives. But through hardship, He teaches us to fully depend on Him, understanding that He alone is the source of our strength and provision. Every challenge is part of God's process of refining you for something greater. The moment you're in right now, no matter how overwhelming it feels, is a necessary step on the path to something remarkable. That discomfort is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that God is building you up. And when the blessing arrives, when the doors swing open, when the promise is fulfilled, you'll be ready to carry it with wisdom, manage it well, and glorify God with it in ways you never could before. So don't resent the trial. Don't curse the discomfort. Embrace it. Because when all is said and done, you'll look back and realize it was all part of a greater process, one that made you stronger, more capable, and more blessed than you ever dreamed. As God prepares to release something extraordinary into your life, He often begins by pruning, removing people, places, or habits that no longer serve the purpose He's called you to. There may be seasons where you face unexpected endings. Certain relationships may quietly dissolve. Opportunities you once relied on might suddenly disappear. At first, it may feel painful. It may seem like you're being left behind or stripped of everything familiar. But what if those moments aren't rejection, but the unfolding of God's bigger plan? Pruning is a necessary and sacred part of growth. Picture a gardener tending to a vine or tree. In order for it to flourish, to become stronger and bear more fruit, the gardener must trim away dead or excessive branches. That doesn't mean the plant is being damaged. It means it's being prepared for abundance. In the same way, God prunes your life to strengthen you and make space for something new to grow. The people and things that were once part of your life may not be able to continue with you as you move into the next phase of your destiny. God sometimes allows certain elements to be removed so that you can receive the fresh blessings He has prepared for you. It's essential to understand that these losses, though painful, do not signal the end of your story. In fact, they're often a vital part of God's intentional plan to prepare you for what lies ahead. God sees the future in ways we cannot. He knows the upcoming opportunities, the trials, and the individuals who are meant to walk with you in the next season of your journey. Some relationships or circumstances have fulfilled their role, but they aren't meant to accompany you into the next chapter. As difficult as it may be, there are times when God must remove what's holding you back in order to launch you into your divine calling. This process isn't about rejection, it's about advancement. Picture your life like a traveler carrying excess baggage. If you're overloaded, you can't move with freedom, and you certainly can't run your race at the pace you were created for. God uses pruning and the removal of distractions to lighten your burden and sharpen your focus. It's His way of clearing the road so you can step forward with intention and clarity. Those people or environments that once fit your life may no longer align with the vision God has for you. If you're surrounded by the wrong influences or stuck in limiting circumstances, it's impossible to fully walk in the purpose He's given you. When God takes something or someone out of your life, it's a clear sign that He's preparing space for something greater. Initially, this can be hard to process, especially when it feels like you're being left with less than what you once had. But believe this, God knows exactly what you need. The people, opportunities, or possessions He removes were never intended to be permanent. He has something far greater waiting just ahead. But first, you must make room for it. Sometimes we cling to things or people out of fear of what's on the other side of letting go. The unknown can be intimidating. But don't forget, God never takes without the intention to replace with better. It may not be instantly apparent, and the wait might test your patience, but the blessings that follow the pruning process are always worth it. Eventually, you realize that what felt like a loss was actually divine redirection, a necessary realignment to bring your life into harmony with the greater purpose God has for you. God isn't in the business of taking things from us just to leave us lacking. His purpose is always to bless us with more than we could ever ask for or even imagine. But before He does that, He often removes the unnecessary, the distractions and the burdens that weigh us down, so we're ready to fully receive what He has prepared. So when you notice that God is pruning aspects of your life, take heart. It's a clear indication that He's making room for something greater. It's not about losing, it's about preparing for what's ahead. In these seasons of transition, release with faith and confidence. Believe that every subtraction is setting the stage for a divine addition. Every ending is part of a higher rearrangement. God's calling on your life is too significant for you to remain entangled in anything that can hinder your progress. Put your trust in His purpose and rest assured He's carving out space in your life for something remarkable. There will be moments when the way forward feels unclear, when the path you once felt secure walking suddenly fades, and the future looks uncertain and hazy. In times like these, it's natural to feel lost, overwhelmed, or even disheartened. You might start wondering if you're still headed in the right direction, or if you have what it takes to push through the difficulties in front of you. But let me encourage you with this truth. When everything around you seems uncertain, that is exactly the time to place your confidence in God's perfect timing. God's vision for your life is far more expansive than anything you can currently see. The problems, the delays, the confusions, they may look like obstacles, but they're often instruments God is using to guide you toward the destiny He has already designed for you. Even in seasons of doubt, God's timing is flawless. He never makes mistakes. He's never hurried. He never falters. His plan is deliberate, and it's been tailor-made for your life and His divine calling for you. Learning to trust God's timing can be challenging. We live in a culture that prioritizes instant gratification, fast answers, and immediate success. When we want something, we expect it now. Waiting feels uncomfortable, and the longer it lasts, the harder it becomes to keep believing. But God's clock doesn't tick like ours. His ways are different from ours, and His thoughts go far beyond what we can comprehend. There will be seasons where it feels like everything is at a standstill and nothing seems to be moving forward. But hear this, God is never inactive. Even when you can't see it, He is working. He is orchestrating the details, positioning the right people, and arranging every situation to align with the moment He has appointed. Scripture reminds us that God makes everything beautiful in its time. He is the ultimate architect, knowing precisely when and how things should come together. His timing is never accidental, it's always intentional. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and spent years imprisoned. Joseph faced seasons of hardship and uncertainty, yet through it all, God's presence never left him. And when the appointed time came, God elevated him to a position of influence, using him to preserve countless lives, including those of the very brothers who once turned against him. Had Joseph been promoted too soon, he wouldn't have been ready to bear the responsibility that came with such greatness. It was God's perfect timing that shaped, refined, and equipped him for the calling on his life. In the same way, you may feel like your own path is filled with setbacks, delays, and unanswered questions. You may wonder why progress feels slow or why opportunities seem to slip away when all you want is to move forward. But never forget, God's delay is not God's denial. He is always working, often behind the scenes, preparing you, shaping you, and strengthening you. Every moment of waiting is a key part of His process to develop your faith, build your character, and increase your inner strength. That waiting season isn't meaningless. It's during those pauses that you learn to trust Him more deeply, to lean on His wisdom, and to become the person He's preparing you to be for the blessings ahead. Sometimes it's not only about waiting for God to act, it's also about bringing your heart into alignment with His timing. Faith isn't just about believing in what God can do. It's about trusting when He chooses to do it. It's understanding that while your view is limited, God sees the entire picture. Relying on His timing means letting go of your own expectations and believing that He knows what's truly best for you. It's the kind of faith that knows He's never early, never late. He's always right on time. I understand how challenging it can be to trust when the path forward is unclear. But I want to encourage you today. Lean into His timing. Release your need to control the process. Hand over your fear, your doubts, and your impatience, and let Him take the lead. He will navigate you through every difficulty, and when the moment is right, He will open doors that no one else can open. You may not fully grasp it now, but one day you'll look back and see that everything unfolded exactly as it needed to. And you'll be thankful for every delay, every closed door, and every quiet season. God is always faithful. His timing is flawless. Trust Him to take you exactly where you're meant to be. Rest assured, He's preparing you for something greater than you can currently comprehend. And He will lead you into His purpose, step by step, exactly when the time is right. In the end, you'll see clearly that His timing was the very thing that changed everything. There comes a moment in every believer's life when a stirring begins to rise deep within, a longing for more, for something greater than the life they've known so far. This longing isn't rooted in dissatisfaction with your present. It's the gentle whisper of God's Spirit within you, calling you to walk fully in the purpose He's designed for your life. It's the spark that initiates transformation. This inner stirring is a sign that God is at work in your soul, preparing you for something far greater than you've ever imagined. At first, this longing can feel uneasy. It might feel like a pull you can't quite define. You may find yourself restless, uneasy with the routine, and no longer fulfilled by the life you've grown used to. It's as if a quiet but persistent voice inside you is saying, there's more. You're meant for more than this. You were created for something greater. This isn't a craving for material success, recognition, or status. It's a much deeper hunger. It's a spiritual longing for God's divine plan to be revealed and lived out through you in unexpected and powerful ways. God is stirring your spirit because He's leading you towards something extraordinary. Sometimes this awakening can bring anxiety or impatience. You may find yourself asking, why do I feel this way? Why am I no longer content with where I am? But what you need to understand is this: that feeling is a gift. It's God's way of signaling that He's at work in your life, preparing you for what's next in your journey. God has placed a unique calling on your life, and that desire for more is the first step towards stepping into it. This stirring often creates a holy discontent with mediocrity and complacency. You begin to realize your life cannot be confined by the limits of your current reality. You might look around and think, I was made for more. There's deeper purpose, greater passion, and lasting fulfillment waiting for me. That's God preparing your heart for the bigger things He's planning to release into your life. The stirring inside you is not by chance, nor is it a fleeting emotion. It's a divine invitation, an urging to rise to a new level. But here's what you need to know. God doesn't ignite your heart without a purpose. He doesn't place a desire for more within you without also providing the path to pursue it. That longing for something greater, whether it's to deepen your faith, broaden your impact, serve at a higher level, or accomplish something beyond your current reach, is evidence of the divine design God has crafted specifically for you. When you sense this stirring, it's your signal to act. You're being invited to move forward, to leave behind the comfort of what's familiar and step boldly into the unknown, trusting that God will guide your every step. Yet with this stirring comes a challenge, a call to break free from the comfort zone that's kept you stuck for far too long. When God begins to stir something within your heart, it's a clear sign that He is calling you into something great. He's encouraging you to step beyond the ordinary and step into the extraordinary. That deep longing you feel isn't random. It's a divine invitation to stretch your capacity, take courageous steps, and rise to new levels of purpose and calling. God is calling you toward greatness, but the journey won't be effortless. It will require dedication, it will demand sacrifice, and it will ask you to let go of the old and step boldly into the unknown. But here's the truth. What God has ahead for you is far greater than anything you could dream or anticipate. When He stirs your spirit, it's because He's getting you ready to witness the unfolding of the dreams and destiny He planted deep within your soul. So if you sense that stirring today, that yearning for something beyond where you are, don't dismiss it. Don't let it slip away. Lean into it. Welcome it. Allow it to move you forward into the life God is calling you to live. Remember, God is always faithful to finish the work He began in you. That desire for more is a confirmation that He is leading you toward a future filled with purpose, blessing, and meaningful impact far beyond what you've yet experienced. Answer the call, trust His timing, and walk into the greatness He has been preparing for you all along. The best is still ahead. When God is preparing to entrust you with something greater than you can imagine, one of the most powerful things you can do is to take steps of faith and obedience, even when the path isn't clear. This can be one of the toughest challenges, can't it? The uncertainty of what's next can bring fear, doubt, and hesitation. We crave clarity. We want to know every detail. What's coming, when it will happen, and how it will all work out. But more often than not, God's plan unfolds gradually. He invites us to trust Him step by step, even when we can't see the full picture. Obedience isn't about having all the answers before you move. It's about responding to God's voice with a willing heart, even in the midst of uncertainty. Look at the story of Abraham. God told him to leave his home, his comfort zone, and go to a land that would be shown to him. Abraham didn't have a roadmap. He didn't have all the details. What he had was God's promise and God's instruction to go. So what did he do? He went. He walked in faith despite the unknowns. And because Abraham chose to obey, God blessed him in ways far beyond what he ever could have envisioned. You see, obedience is a powerful key that unlocks the blessings of God. God isn't looking for flawless understanding. He's looking for your willingness. He wants a heart that trusts Him enough to move forward, even when the outcome is still unseen. This doesn't mean you won't have doubts or wonder about what's ahead. It simply means you've chosen to believe that God knows the path better than you do. His wisdom is greater than ours, and His plan is always for our good, even when it's difficult to recognize in the moment. God doesn't always reveal the full picture right away. He rarely shows us every part of the journey in advance. Why? Because He wants us to learn to trust Him in the unfolding. He desires to grow our faith, develop our character, and deepen our confidence in His perfect timing. Choosing obedience without having all the answers is one of the strongest ways we can show our trust in God's authority. The very moment you take a step in obedience, you're declaring, God, I trust you even when I don't know what's ahead. I believe you're leading me, and I trust you'll reveal the next step at the right time. Taking action is just as vital. It's not enough to feel stirred in your spirit or to sense that God is calling you to more. Faith demands movement. As Scripture says, faith without works is dead. James 2:26. Obedience to God isn't passive. It's not about sitting still and waiting for everything to fall into place. It's about moving forward in the direction He's guiding you, even when you don't yet see the full plan. The action step means trusting that every small move forward is bringing you closer to the purpose He's designed for you. Consider the story of Peter walking on water. When Jesus told him to come, Peter didn't wait for the waves to settle or for ideal conditions. He stepped out in obedience, walking toward Jesus amid the storm. And as long as he kept his focus on Jesus, he moved in faith. But the moment fear crept in and he looked away, he began to sink. God is calling you to step out of your comfort zone and walk toward the greater things He has prepared for you. Even if the waters are choppy, even if the path isn't clear. Your choice to obey and take action will determine whether you walk on water by faith or sink under the weight of uncertainty and fear. When God calls you to something more, He won't always hand you the entire map. He may only reveal the next step. And He asks you to trust Him with the rest. Your willingness to obey, even without having every answer, is the very act of faith that opens the door to His blessings. God will never guide you in the wrong direction. If He's asking you to move, He will also provide the way forward, the strength to endure, and the direction you need to continue walking with purpose. And here's the amazing truth: God honors your willingness to move. When you choose to walk in obedience, even when the answers aren't all there, He sees your faith and your trust in Him, and He will bless that choice. Your obedience is like a seed planted in faith, destined to grow into something far beyond what you can currently comprehend. It's a divine assurance that God will meet you right in the middle of your faithfulness, guiding you, empowering you, and opening doors that only He has the authority to open. God isn't asking you to have every detail sorted out before you begin. He's asking you to trust Him enough to take that first step, to move, to act, and to follow His direction. He's calling you to rise up in faith, to step out with boldness, and to follow His voice, believing that as you do, He will prove faithful to fill His promises and reward your obedience. So go ahead, take the leap. Don't wait until everything feels certain. Don't wait for the timing to be perfect. Move forward in faith and obedience, and watch as God begins to work in your life in ways beyond anything you've hoped for or imagined. Your future rests in His hands, and He will faithfully lead you step by step along the path He's prepared for you.